Okay, so this lesson we're going to talk about 2-point perspective. So the supplies you're going to need are an eraser, a pencil, and a ruler. And one thing to remember is that we need to draw light until it's right so that we can be sure to erase away all the lines we don't need. So when we are doing 2-point perspective, we are going to need a horizon line that goes across the page. Now you can play around with different placements of your horizon line. If it's lower or if it's higher, it changes the effect of your picture that you're making. So with this being 2-point perspective, that means we're going to have 2 vanishing points. Okay, so right here we have a vanishing point, and right here we have a vanishing point. So we are going to start by making our first building. Now this is different than 1-point perspective because 1-point perspective we're coming into the middle. This one we're going out to the outside. So that means that whatever our first building in the middle is here, we're going to kind of build our cityscape off of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a line somewhere towards the middle of the page, and we want this to be our biggest line. Just for our initial example. Hi, Drax. So we're going to make a line, and what we're going to do is we are going to connect the top and bottom of our line to our vanishing points. So we're going to take our ruler, we're going to connect here, drawing nice and light, connect here, here, and here. Now, just like in doing 1-point perspective, we are going to then add our vertical lines to finish off our building. So in 2-point perspective, you start with 1 line, and it's the corner of your building. In 1-point perspective, you start with a square. So this is where it's different. We make our 1 line, and then we're going to add our vertical lines in on our converging lines. So we're going to do the same as 1-point, where we start on the line that we need to create parallel lines to, and we're going to slide it out. I'm going to line my ruler up to my paper so I know it's straight, and then I'm going to connect my converging lines, or my orthogonal lines, with a vertical line. Now, these lines are our converging lines. Okay, so we're converging over to our 1 points. Now, we have a building here, and you might not be able to see it yet. So I'm going to outline it in black so that you can see it nice and dark, and then I will show you where you can erase away. So in creating 2-point perspective, it's as if you were standing on the corner of a sidewalk and you were looking down, deciding which direction on the street to go. Do you want to go left or do you want to go right? Okay. So, there, my lines are a little off there. Here, where I have drawn the marker, this is our building. So I'm going to let you take a look at that. And now it's easier for your eyes to see where the building's at. Now, we aren't going to need these lines anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to erase our converging orthogonal lines. We're going to erase them on the top, but we're going to leave them on the bottom because I'm going to show you a little secret to doing 2-point perspective. Okay, and then when you're looking at a building, you can't see the horizon line through the building because it has all of those construction materials in front of it. So we are going to erase away our horizon line inside of our building. Okay, so here we are. Boom, and we have one building. Now, the reason why I'm going to leave this is because what this would turn into, and I gave this example in the 1-point perspective too, what this would turn into is a sidewalk. So we can create this sidewalk effect in our cityscape. The project that I do with my class, they're required to have a sidewalk, so I just always teach them to keep that sidewalk there. Now, hi Drax. My cat's trying to come up here. Come here. Now I'm going to show you how to add buildings on. Now there's 2 ways that we can do that, so I'm going to show you both. One, we can create a gap in between our buildings, and if we create a gap, then all we're doing is we're giving a little bit of a space, and then we're adding a straight line. Okay, from here, I'm going to connect both the top and bottom to the horizon line. And what you'll notice that I did there is I skipped drawing in there because I know I'm not going to be able to see that line no matter what. As you get closer to your vanishing points, your walls will get steeper. So notice how it's really steep right here and it's not too steep over here. So it can throw your eyes for a bit of a loop, but just know that that's going to happen when you get closer, and that's okay. So this one's already good, so now we have to connect to the bottom. And again, I'm not going to go through the building, and because I know that I'm not going to go through the building, I know I'm going to have to erase this line, so I'm just not going to add it in there. Great. So now I have my orthogonal lines. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my center line and then slide my ruler out to where I want it. And then I'm going to connect my converging lines. There we go. Now we have a second building, and you might not be able to notice it yet. So I'm going to outline it again in black so that it is easier for you to see. Now once you outline it in black, it just kind of helps your eyes register which lines you're paying emphasis to. So sometimes being able to see it this way with an emphasis on the lines, it makes it a little bit easier, so then you don't have to go through and add marker in yours, but you can have a visual here. Okay, so that's our second building. Now again, I'm going to leave this line because it becomes our sidewalk, but I'm going to erase this line because we don't need it. I'm going to erase this line because we don't need it. Now this is the horizon line, and we're going to leave that because we can see this gap between the buildings. So I'm going to erase this bottom line. Erase the rest of my converging lines. Good. Now the only thing left to erase is my horizon line. And I have 2 buildings. Now, the next and last thing that I am going to show you is how to draw a building that is next to a building that you've created. Okay, so in order to do that, this line that would be our center line is going to be connected to this line. So we could either do a short building down here or a tall one. I'm going to show you how to do a tall one. So we're going to line it up. We're going to extend that line. We know that it's already connected down here. We're gonna connect this one here. And we're gonna connect it to the other side here. Yes, Drax. Okay, and then because we don't get to see this side, it cuts through the building, we're not even gonna add that line in there. So, pretending this is our center line. Hi, Drax. Pretending this is our center line, we are going to put our ruler down. We're gonna slide it out so that it is parallel. And we are going to connect our converging lines. And we have another building, so let me outline it for you so your visual is a bit easier here. Okay. Awesome. So now we have our 3 buildings, one with a gap in between, and one that is attached to the other. Okay, now we're not quite finished because we still have some lines to erase. So I'm going to make sure that all my extra orthogonal and converging lines, hi Draxie, so that they are all gone. And then I'm going to erase my horizon line from inside my building because we cannot see through our building unless we are making a glass building, but we are not. Okay, so that's how you do that. Now, these are the different kinds of buildings. If you have a building that's down below here, below the horizon line, you're going to be able to see the roof. So that'll be another lesson for another day because that's a tricky element to try and do. I'm going to show you really quickly how to do a door and a window. So you're going to decide how big you want your door. You put a line. Now, you want to start with knowing what direction to go. So if I'm going to draw on the left side of my building, okay, so our center line of our building, if we're going to draw on the left side, we need to know that we're going to the left, okay? If you start on the right side, then you need to go to the right. Now, I don't know if this video is mirrored or not, so I'm not sure if I'm telling you left and right and it's incorrect or what, but I'm going to start on this side, so I'm going to take it to this side's vanishing point. So I made my vertical line, then I'm going to connect the top of my vertical line to my vanishing point. And I'm not going to go all the way over because I know I don't need to. And then I'm going to connect my converging line to my bottom converging line. So where this connects, we know that it goes right along the sidewalk there. And so this is going to slant down. Now people, when learning this project, have a hard time with the fact that it slants because you want your doors to be straight. Your brain wants it to be straight, your mind wants it to be straight, your eyes want it to be straight. So it's really tricky for our eyes to let go of the fact that, oh, there's Drax, there's my cat, of the fact that it's not going to be straight. Hi, Draxie. Okay, now I'm going to give you an example of how to do a window, and I'm going to do it on this other side so that you can see what it's like to do that over there. If you guys don't know, I have a hairless cat. His name's Drax, and this is him, just getting in the way. Hi, Draxie. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start, since we're on this side, we're going to our vanishing point over here, so we have to start on the far side. So I'm going to take my ruler. Oh, Drax. Now I'm going to create a line. Now I'm going to draw a really big window so that you guys have a good visual of what it looks like. And Drax, get out of here, dude. Okay, I'll make sure you guys are still on screen. Here we go. Now I drew a big line, so Rex, come on. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Ah. Okay. I'm gonna connect the top and bottom of my line to my vanishing points. So here, and I'm gonna stop. I know I'm not gonna go past the building, so I'm not gonna draw the lines all the way down. I'm just gonna draw them to the edge of the building. Okay, now from here I can decide where I want the end to be. Good. Now again, this is kind of a tricky thing for our eyes because it's slanted, and just like doors, our eyes want our windows to be perfectly straight because our windows in life are, for the most part, straight lines. So it can be tricky for our eyes to wrap around that. And then we're gonna erase our extra lines that we don't need, and boom, you got a window. Okay, so that's your quick lesson on how to do 2-point perspective with a detached building and then attached buildings. So I hope you enjoy the lesson, and make sure you show me your finished products. Thanks, guys. Bye. Move, Drax, so they can see. There it is. There's that final product. All right. Bye, guys.